Scotland and France, folks, 90 points. 90 points, 50-40, Scotland. What a win. This is why I have to wake up at 3 in the morning to watch this stuff, because goodness knows what you're going to miss. This Six Nations just keeps throwing up banger after banger after banger. 50 points to 40. Unbelievable game. And Super Saturday, the final weekend of Six Nations action, is going to be insane because the tournament has not been decided in the penultimate round. If Scotland had gone in and gotten beaten like they were expected to do and France had scored their 4 tries, then France would have sealed the deal with this one. But no, the Six Nations is still alive. Scotland, imagine if you'd beaten Italy in the first round, you'd be staring down a Grand Slam of your own. But geez, I don't want to take away from this. It was a beautiful day. France had the sun in their eyes, which maybe didn't help them at the start of the first half. But geez, beautiful day in Scotland. The crowd was in good voice. There were a lot of French travelling fans making their voices heard. And Scotland contested kicks really well, which I think is such an important one against this French backfield. Like their counter-attacking play, their kick return play is so deadly. Scotland kicked, I thought, very smartly. But geez, 90 points. 18 line breaks, 3 yellow cards. What did this game not have? I guess it didn't have a red, but there we go. We'll go through some of the key events and the stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. What an insane game. It starts with one of many wingers tries. There's 6 tries to the wingers in this game. Darcy Graham gets the first one. France free kicked at scrum time. And it all starts from Ramos knocking on a kick through. And maybe he had a bit of the sun in his eyes in that one, but he knocks it on. Free kick at scrum time, and then it's a Hugh Jones wee half break. Russell kind of fumbles the ball, but it goes backwards, so the bouncing ball is always a dangerous one. And Darcy Graham is the first man to react. Try time, Scotland, 7 points to 0. The perfect start. Because, as I said, they might be at home, but they're underdogs. You want to get the crowd in full voice behind you. They started with that, but you could feel France were going to respond, and they did with multiple chances they didn't take initially. They had a 5-metre line out in reply. The Scottish maul defence held. They had Finn Russell kind of sticking out his backside a little bit to inhibit BLBRA's kick and chase game, but that ended in the 5-metre line out for France anyway. So France had a chance. They missed it. You had Scotland winning a scrum penalty from Schoolman. That was impressive because they got a couple of scrum penalties over the French in the first half. BLBRA and Atisogbe looked to combine, couldn't quite find the final ball. Ramos put a nice line break in, and Jalibert had a dinky kick through for Atisogbe, but nothing would quite stick. They had multiple chances. But finally, it took 17 minutes. And this is quite a long gap between scoring, considering the amount of tries that were scored in this game, from the 4th try until the 17th one. But finally, you do get BLBRA, another try for that man in the corner, and it starts with France punishing a Scottish mistake because it's Dupont who's able to strip Tuipulotu in the tackle, and they turn defence into attack in the flash. And they shift the ball left. BLBRA 7 points apiece. France have been so deadly at that in the Six Nations. As soon as there's turnover ball or line-out errors or whatever it is, if you cough up the ball, France are going to use that moment before you are set, and they're going to punish you. So 7 points apiece, and it's a quick-fire double because Atisogbe gets the next one for France on the left wing, and it starts with Scotland, a penalty conceded at maul time. Again, they shifted left. BLBRA is the provider this time, and he has like 3 try assists in this game. His dink through, Atisogbe is able to finish it, so 14 points to 7. That is maybe a little bit more according to the script, in which France is on their route to a Grand Slam, but no, it's a try-fest. It continues. Kyle Steyn, who gets man of the match in a perfect reply for the Scots, and it's punishing a couple of French penalties conceded, like advantages, a little bit soft from the French, and I feel like the discipline is going to be one area, along with the missed tackles, that they won't be too happy with this one. Scotland go for the corner. Pleasing to see them go for the jugular, and I love it that it looked for all money like they're going to go for the maul. They're 100% setting a maul here. This is test match rugby, you go for the maul, but they don't. They spin it to the backs, and Kyle Steyn, what a line. Try time. He cuts through the French defence. It's a misconversion, but 14 points to 12. Proper game on. There's a yellow card warning for the French because they have been conceding a few penalties now. Scotland go close, and eventually that man Schoeman is able to burrow over. And Jelly Bear gets a yellow card because there had been too many offsides in the build-up to that one. So 19 points to 14. Scotland were in front. They get another scrum penalty to get themselves a chance down France's end before halftime against 14 men. But they can't get it done. And to be fair, France actually won a scrum penalty against Schoeman right before halftime. So we go into the sheds with this 19 points to 14 lead. Possession is 68-32. The Scots have had a heap of ball. Territory is 53-47. That's a bit more even, but line breaks 5-3 to the French. Defenders beaten 15-4 to the Scots. There's been line breaks. There's been busted tackles. There's been a bunch of tries. Penalty count's low, 4-2, but there's been a few advantages in there, especially against the French, which aren't full-blown penalties, but they were kind of adding up in the background, if you want to count them that way. France have had to make 118 tackles to 40 at halftime. That's what I mean about the Scots just coming out relentlessly, wanting to play. And as I said, when they were kicking, they weren't generally kicking long. They were kicking high, and they were contesting, because if you give the French backfield a chance to run back at you, they can make you look silly. What wasn't silly for them was a yellow card being over. Didn't concede any points during it, so that's a perfect, I guess, response for the French, but they were under a bit of pressure, and pretty much as soon as the yellow card to Jalibert expired, Scotland were able to get it done. 5-metre line-out, advantage, phases, and Ben White with the snipe kind of goes between the gap of Marchand and I think Guillard. So, yeah, really heads-up play from the Scottish 9, 26-14, and then maybe the turning point of the game. What a turning point, key moment. Like if there's a match defining moment, maybe it's the Kyle Steyn intercept, because I seem to remember Scotland had kicked long under a bit of pressure at that point, and France were looking to do their big counter-attacking play. They were shifting it right. Dupont rips a pass to the right, but Kyle Steyn reads it as the French have got numbers out right, wide. He's got the gas to beat Moefana, who's trying to run him down. Moefana can't get a hand on him. 33 points to 14. That goes from, it's close to the Scots have really got a good buffer here. And it's just what the French have been doing to everyone else in terms of turning like defense into attack. What a read from Kyle Steyn. Clutch moment of the game for mine. 33-14. And then this is maybe where the pressure starts to get a little bit to France, because they start giving away some silly penalties. Meafo gives away one. Kroos gives away one. Gillon has to go off for an HIA, which he fails. It's the mouth guard, which alerted the officials to that one, which is a good bit of news for the technology to protect his head. But yeah, some things going wrong for the French. They get themselves another yellow card warning against Scotland, going for the jugular, go for the corner. 5-metre line out. They maul it. The maul doesn't quite get the purchase that they might have. They spin it to the backs. Kinghorn gets tackled, but is able to pop the ball from the deck. And this is where we get the second try for Graham. So, plus a Nushi yellow card, because there'd been too many penalties conceded. Goodness me, 40 points to 14. Surely that is the game. France are not coming back from there. And then again, more pressure. Like Dupont in his own goal area. Huge ripper pass to Bilbao, but it's miles forward. So it's more pressure on the Scots. 5-metre scrum. Tui Polotu runs it straight, passes it to Tom Jordan, who's come on for Hugh Jones. 47-14. That's almost a gift. That's not very Dupont-like, but it's ruthless from the Scots to punish. Now at this point, France not only have lost the game, but are looking like getting absolutely nothing from it. I will give them a heck of a lot of credit, because they did seem to rally despite all this pressure, despite having 40 points or 47 points been put on them by this point. They still had a chance to get some points out of the game. 2 more tries and they would have got it, and they get it pretty easily. Their skill set gets going. You have Moefana getting a break. Atisogbe playing a nice 1-2 with Jalibert. Dupont finishes a try, 47-21. They're chasing the 4-try bonus point. They get the 4-try bonus point. Lots of pressure. Ramos steps and finishes 47-26. Russell does kick a penalty for the Scots to bring up the 50 and to maybe slow the game down, but slowing the game down doesn't work, because basically from the restart we get another French try It's great hands in the build-up again. Giroud finishes that one. 50 points to 33. Bayless cops a yellow card for, was it a deliberate knock-on in the build-up? And then finally, the French get the final score to bring up 40 through Ramos at the death. So they've brought the points difference back a bit more reasonably, the French. But key point is that 4-try bonus point, because that means they are level with the Scots. So with the points difference France have got, still kind of advantage them going into the final round when they host England. Who knows if that point will be crucial. But yeah, you certainly felt France, once the game was gone, get back to playing what France were expected to play like from the start, really. But man, 90-point game. Possession 59-41 to the Scots. Territory 55-45 to the Scots. Defenders beaten 34-20 to the Scots. Defensively, France, man, when did they miss 34 tackles? And 9 line breaks each. Crazy stuff. Turnovers conceded 15-9 against the French, so it's a negative stat that they don't want. And their line out was only at 75%, whereas the Scots were at 93%. Penalty count was also 10-4 against the French, but that doesn't include all the advantages, which were not blown up. Crazy, crazy game. Stained 3 line breaks, 5 defenders beaten. Man of the match, 2 tries. Graham, 3 line breaks, 9 defenders beaten, 2 tries. Bielbiere, 3 line breaks, 3 try assists, and a try. Geez, the wingers were having a field day. Giroud, 25 tackles in terms of the kind of more defensively minded stats. But goodness me, what a game. Unbelievable stuff. You guys let us know your thoughts, but I'm just so happy that the final round is not a foregone conclusion. We've got genuinely something to play for. So me as a neutral, I'm absolutely loving that. If you enjoyed the vid, if you enjoyed the stats, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, all that kind of jazz. I'm off to watch Italy take on England. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.